I've noticed something, especially when we are in courtship, in the aspect of knowing the man and in the aspect of the house the man is living. I wanted to know, why is it that sisters are not allowed to go to the brother's house? In the sense that he's not going directly there, but with a leader, either two leaders or one of the woman rep, so that the sister can know the situation in the house of the man. It's not that we'll just be talking together just like that without knowing the facts about the brother. We can always sit down together. We can always talk. But if you don't know where about the brother, and the brother just told the marriage committee that this is this way I'm living, this is my lifestyle, and by the time you get to the house, you discover that the reverse is the case. And most of our sisters are harboring this thing in their mind. Some people, they are not enjoying their
doesn't belong to the man, doesn't belong to the woman. And in this no man's land, and the man, if he's a good, well-controlled man, can be stingy with information, while the woman is generous with information. And then the man might just smile and say, everything is all right. And you ask any question, everything is okay. You can never get anything positive or negative. Everything is okay. Everything is neutral. And this man is playing a game. Why don't we follow him to the house? Where does he live? Is he neat? Is he compatible? How does he reason? How lazy is it? How hardworking is he? Which kind of people surround him? Show me your friends, and I'll show you who you are. Show me the kind of people you live with, and I'll show you. Show me your environment, and I'll show you the kind of person you are. That's what our sister is saying. And I'm asking myself, why not? If not, follow them home. I'm assuming that, any sister that wants to get married, I'm assuming that you are reasonable. You're not going to go at 12 o'clock in the night. You're not going to go at 11 o'clock in the night. You're going to go at a time you can see what you want to see. And I'm assuming that they meant you. I'm assuming that you were reasonable. And you're not going to go alone. You're not going to ask foolish questions. You're not going to get into things that will get you into trouble. All you're looking for is, I'm taking this decision. And I can only marry once, except the woman or the man dies. And since this is just the decision I'm going to take, and my life is going to suffer for it, marriage committee is not going to bear my burden with me. Pastor GS is not going to bear my burden with me. And because this is my life, this thing may eventually land in hell.
For decades, Deeper Life Bible Church has been known for its strict rules, especially when it comes to marriage and courtship. Rules so rigid that many members whispered about them being too much. But what happens when the man who created those rules stands before thousands and says, actually, these are not from the Bible? That is exactly what Pastor William Kumuyi just did. And the reactions are flooding in across Nigeria. Welcome to RNN TV, and I'm Esther Olateju. At the 2025 Global Family and Marriage Conference, Kumuyi dropped what many are calling the biggest church announcement in years. He did not just modify two major Deeper Life laws, he publicly admitted they were never biblical in the first place. And for millions of Nigerians who have watched Deeper Life's influence on church culture, this is monumental. Let's break down exactly what changed. For decades, Deeper Life had a strict rule. A woman could not visit the man she intended to marry during courtship. Period. This wasn't just guidance, it was church law. But Kumuyi has now declared this rule completely nullified. From now, intending couples can freely visit themselves during courtship, but only on the condition that he or he go with an elder. But that's not all. The church's famous 6-month mandatory courtship period, a rule that affected thousands of couples over the years, is no longer compulsory. And here's the part that's making headlines. Kumuyi openly admitted this will add no biblical foundation. We just felt you need some time to know one another. And then we said 1 month will be too short, 2 months too short. So, why not 6 months? But it is not from the Bible, he stated. The political implications there go beyond church walls. Deeper Life has shaped religious culture across Nigeria for generations. When Nigeria's most conservative megachurch starts questioning its own traditions, sense ripples through the entire religious landscape. This is about authority, tradition, and how institutions evolve. What makes this even more significant is Kumuyi's direct challenge to church committees. There is no marriage committee in the New Testament. We created it to help you, not because we can give you a chapter and a verse. It is church administration, he declared. He warned that marriage committees should not exercise an authority that God has not given them. This is just church organization, not divine law. For context, this is the same church that once had some of the strictest rules in Nigerian Christianity. No jury, no makeup for women, no visiting between couples, mandatory 6-month courtship, and marriage committees with significant power over members' personal lives. Now, their own leader is publicly separating church administration from divine law. The reactions from Deeper Life members reveal the complexity of this moment. Komolafe expressed cautious support. I still think the 6 months was a good idea. It gave people time to slow down, especially since dating isn't allowed in Deeper Life. At least, you get to really talk and know each other a bit before marriage. But Emmanuel Ode welcomes the reforms. This goes a long way to telling us that doctrines are not biblical, but rather principles created by men in authority to set people on the path of good. Going against them is not a sin as popularized by these church leaders. I'm glad he is making amends. Why does this matter to everyday Nigerians? Because millions of people have structured their lives around these rules. Some left relationships, delayed marriages, felt guilty for questioning church authority, stayed in the church specifically because of these strict standards. Kumuyi's admission that these rules were administrative, not divine, validates every person who ever felt these restrictions were too much. We review something crucial about religious authority in Nigeria. When leaders admit their rules weren't biblical, it opens conversations about which other church traditions might be human-made rather than God-ordained. It's a moment of institutional honesty that's rare in Nigerian religious circles. For young Nigerians navigating faith and relationships, this announcement is liberating. Older members who follow these rules strictly, it might feel confusing or even validating if they struggled with them. For other churches watching, it's a masterclass in institutional humility. What do you think about Pastor Kumuyi's admission? Should religious leaders be more willing to distinguish between biblical commands and church administration? Are these changes overdue, or do they undermine the discipline that made Deeper Life distinctive? Drop your thoughts in the comments, especially if you're familiar with Deeper Life culture or have navigated similar church rules in your own life. We want to hear from people across different denominations about how this might affect Nigerian church culture. If this breakdown helped you understand the significance of these changes, like, subscribe, and share to someone who needs context on what is happening in Nigerian religious circles. Because when one of Nigeria's most conservative churches starts questioning its own traditions, it's a conversation that affects far more than just Deeper Life members.